Today we're taking a look at the newest release from Heaven Hill Distillery, the Larceny Batch A125. Stick around, we're about ready to dive into this video today here on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. So let's talk a little bit about some of the details of the newest release again from Heaven Hill and their Larceny Batch A125. All right, so this is coming in at 125 proof on the nose. Mash bill, 68% corn, 20% wheat, 12% malted barley. It is non-age stated. However, they do indicate that these are aged between 6 and 8 years old. And the MSRP on this is right around $65. And it's really become more available over the years. So this is definitely something that many more people are able to really get their hands on these days. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and kind of dive into the nose. But first, like I like to do, is move the whiskey around a little bit in the glass, see what kind of oils are developing. And so far, this is really pretty nice. I mean, it's showing like it's pretty thick. It even looks thick in the glass. So love to see that. And really, I think Larceny and the Larceny Barrel Proof specifically has really been, improving significantly over the years. So we'll see again where the Batch A125 lies. But first, let's dive into the nose and see what this one's going to give us. All right, so right away, it's this heavy, like vanilla buttercream. It does let you know that it's a wheated bourbon. You are getting a lot more of the wheated profile, specifically more of like a heavy, like frosted flakes cereal. Or even maybe like a Honey Nut Cheerios. There's a combo of that honey nut, vanilla, caramels, the wheated aspect. It's definitely a very tried and true representation of what it is Larceny and the Larceny Barrel Proof have specifically been, I'll say at least with the last, 3 or 4 releases. So it's really starting to kind of set up really, really nicely so far. Heavy baking spices, I would say, on this one, almost leaning towards like the sweet kind of spices you'll get when you're kind of cooking or smelling a baked pie or something along those lines. Really nice kind of brown sugar notes. I mean, it's a really nice, inviting nose so far. Very well balanced, not a lot of heat. I mean, even at 125 proof, that is not something I've really focused on one bit. And again, I just poured this maybe 5 minutes before doing the review, let it kind of open up a little bit. But overall, not a big ethanol bomb or anything like that. It smells very, very like well balanced so far. But the proof will be in the pudding to see exactly what this one's going to taste like. And we're going to dive into that right now. So cheers, guys. Yeah, so really like the nose, very much like a Frosted Flake and Honey Nut Cheerios. Clearly a cereal theme here with this one, but you're getting those representations of there being the wheat grain, a little bit of the kind of honey note, vanillas, caramels, great spice on this thing, great baking spices overall as well. I mean, it's setting up beautifully so far on the palate. So it'll be interesting as we sip on this to see how this one kind of continues to build. Yeah, the oak really starts to kind of come to the forefront now. You were hit up front right away with some of that kind of sweetness. Again, the Frosted Flake, Honey Nut Cheerios. Here comes some of the oak that's kind of combined with that spice. Again, those pie aspects are there, but the spice and oak factor really start to settle in about midway through. So as you kind of continue to sip on this, again, more of that oak and spice kind of begins to build on top of the Frosted Flake or Honey Nut Cheerios, something along those lines. So again, like I mentioned, this is a whiskey that's going to kind of continue to build. So we'll kind of continue sipping our way through it and just really see how and where this one ultimately goes. Yeah, make no bones about it. I mean, it is definitely letting you know that it is a wheated bourbon profile. You are getting some of that wheated grain really kind of all the way through, or throughout, I should say. But in addition to what I've described, now you start to kind of layer in some of that kind of vanilla, caramel, combined with the oak and the spice, baking spices specifically. But, again, it is 100% letting you know that it's a wheated bourbon. So if that's your thing and you're a fan of wheated bourbons and what that gives you, I think this is a great, again, representation of what a high proof wheated bourbon can give you. Again, 125 proof, generally available for the most part. I mean, I've seen these things more and more on the shelves a lot of places I go. So that's a good thing. So if you're looking for a great 125 proof wheated bourbon from one of the big distillers out there, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I think this just falls right into that tried and true type of category for them, and really just becomes an overall great sipping like wheated bourbon. Yeah, maybe even there on the third or fourth sip, you do get a little bit of this, I'll say bitterness, but what I mean by that is more of that kind of heavier oak influence, maybe even like a bittersweet chocolate, something along those lines. It's balancing really well with the wheated profile, in addition to the spice factor. So I think, again, you've got these different layers that are really all ultimately working extremely well together. So again, I think it's just a good representation of what Heaven Hill and specifically the Larceny barrel proofs have really kind of begun to do and implement this as a release. I think an awful lot of people really look forward to, twice a year with the A and B batch. I think it's something, again, that, people are kind of anticipating. And again, at that price point of $65, I think this falls right into the category of some other ones that are out there that are priced very well. Again, based on the price and the availability for what this is, and coming from one of the big heritage brands, it kind of becomes a perfect package. So again, as you can see, it is a sample that was sent to me by Heaven Hill. But again, what I'm giving you is simply my nosing and tasting notes. And if that's something that, kind of aligns with you, great. That's my goal, is to always hopefully translate what it is that I'm tasting and nosing. And if that's something that you enjoy, great. I mean, even better. That's really what my goal is always for any video. And again, with this one specifically, I think Larceny has just done another great job. So overall, my recommendation would be, from a standpoint of them continuing to kind of build on the other releases, prior to this, I think this just falls right into that category of it being a really, really nice, again, 125 proof, wheated bourbon that is generally available, $65. It just kind of works. In today's day and age of super high or premium whiskeys, this falls into that category of being much more affordable, much more manageable. So, again, overall, like, would it be a wheated bourbon that I would recommend? I would say sure. I think if you're, someone who enjoys the profile or a really nice wheated bourbon, I think you're going to really, really enjoy this. So, wheated bourbons are oftentimes difficult, where it seems like you're either, for, or maybe not something that you enjoy. But again, overall, I think what they've done with this, this falls like right in line with them continuing to build on other prior releases, and just overall a really nice release, again, from Heaven Hill, specifically the Heaven Hill or the Larceny barrel proof batch A125. So there you go, guys. Thanks again for tuning in today. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully that helps a little bit as people kind of work on getting this bottle. It gives you an idea of what you can maybe expect from this one. So excited for you guys to get a hold of this, try it, come back, let me know your thoughts. After you try it, where did that kind of land for you? Always enjoy the comments and hearing from you. You guys are the ones doing all the buying and everything out there. So I'd love to hear that. And I think people coming back to watch appreciate your feedback as well. So make sure you leave a comment below on that. But with that, thanks guys again for tuning in today. Greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook and Instagram, those places at My Bourbon Journey. If you'd like to help support the channel and become part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, make sure you check out the link in the description below. That down there with a lot of other great things for you as well. So again, with that being said, and as always, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers. We'll see you on the next one.